What if there was a predictable and proven path towards sex, deep intimacy, and love with her again? Not only that, but also predictable stages you can place yourself in so you know what exact steps to take at each different stage to move forward with certainty. How much would your confidence increase in your ability to win her back? Well, in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 stages a man goes through to win his wife back. I did a previous video on the 5 stages of marriage recovery that I will link at the end of this video. But first, this video is more about assessing your internal state based on the 5 stages, and then the subsequent actions you can take successfully to progress through each stage. The first video is assessing in your marriage. This is assessing within yourself, the actions you can take, okay? And I have seen, after thousands of clients, the exact mindset, thoughts, emotions, and habits men engage in that either keep them away from their wife or bring them back together. And if you don't understand these, it'll leave a bitter taste in your mouth, looking back on your marriage with only one emotion: regret. But if you want a way to win your wife's heart back and become the best version of who you used to be, but even better, let's talk about it. And before I go deeper into the 5 stages, let me show you something. This is the emotional tipping scale. Well, it's just a toy scale, but it resembles the emotional tipping scale. Now, I'm gonna take my 5 stages concept and I'm gonna embed it over this analogy, because the way she feels about you dictates if she's gonna be with you, and how she feels about you is dependent on how many positive and negative emotional experiences she has with you. And so you'll see the ratio or percentage of positive to negative experiences you guys have based on what stage you are in with her. For example, when you guys first fell in love, I mean, it was like 10 to 1, like you could do nothing wrong, positive to negative, and it was just amazing. But over time, death by 1,000 cuts, every little thing you did, the scale started to balance out and even became more negative when she decided to leave. All right, the first stage is negative sentiment. With this one, when it comes to the ETS scale, well, there is no scale because she has no experiences or emotionally with you. She's completely apathetic. For you though, you have high anxiety, despair, hopelessness, feeling defeated, regret. Your thought patterns may be rumination over past mistakes, hyper obsessive thoughts for fixing things, and you are defeated and in a low value position. Not good, right? But we can clear the table. Before we do, let's assess the negative actions. A lot of guys in this state, they'll find creative ways to connect with their partner in a facade, but they're being needy, okay? It's a man reaching out about something random for their kids that doesn't need to be addressed with in person, but he still chooses to. Or constantly checking his phone for messages from her or signs of progress. Or rushing through our program when they join our program is one of the biggest mistakes as well. Or even seeking advice from outside sources and attempting multiple approaches to come up to her and figure things out with her over and over. Especially over apologizing and trying to reconcile every chance you get. Now, why are these negative? Because even if they were positive actions, at the end of the day, when you are in negative sentiment in stage 1, nothing you can do can be interpreted as a positive interaction. You must learn to reset the whole entire scale, get a new scale. And the way you do that is through the positive actions. And you must simply allow correct space.
I gave her space, but then I didn't give her space. I was still leaving her notes that were, I gave her CLCs, but still leave little notes like at the coffee, like I used to, or like a note in her car, and it was just pissing her off. But I think it was upsetting her because it was like you say, like they don't trust the change that they see. They think it's just like they're doing this just, as soon as I come around, they're gonna quit.
This is figuring out how you actually fell apart in the first place. Taking some time to yourself to really assess what is it in myself that causes to truly fall apart. Because a lot of men, after one simple call with their marriage evaluators, they're like, holy crap, I thought it was this. Now I see how it's this. I know exactly what to work on to save my marriage. And that resets the scale because it allows you to go internal within yourself and be honest that you must improve yourself. And what that does over time is that with that extended period of space, curiosity almost wipes away the old scale and produces a new scale. She says, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I'm kind of curious. She reaches out to you, and that's when you go into the next stage. All right, you made it to stage 2, the resentment switch. Hey, at least she hates you now. That's a good thing because hate is better than indifference, okay? A lot of guys ask themselves in this stage, how do I show her my changes, but without even trying, right? And I'll answer that at the end of this video, how to show the changes without seeming forceful. But let's go through your emotional state while you're in this stage. So you're transitioning from despair to cautious hope, okay? And you still have high anxiety, and you're beginning to feel frustration or impatience that the progress isn't happening immediately. There's high emotional reactivity to anything she does because you're attached to her, you're enmeshed, you're entangled with her, right? You're putting her as the outcome, which it seems like, oh, I want to win my wife back, but you'll see why that's not the best mindset to have, okay? The thoughts you may have is, she's so hateful, I don't recognize who this person is, she's not the woman I married. How does she not see her part in all of this as well? A lot of the negative actions that will put you back to stage 0 or keep you in stage 1 is you're trying to talk about the relationship. You're writing letters, you're trying to take her on dates, you're trying to force to see a counselor or just fix things immediately due to that high anxiety. You may overcompensate on the neediness as well by trying to show her that you don't care at all. And then you just you like don't come home at all. You ignore her around the whole house, and it's all needy because you're overcompensating. But the positive actions you can take on the other side of this scale is start to recognize your role in the relationship. Truly have that complete understanding. It's similar to the first stage, but you begin to shift from wanting to save the marriage to instead proving that you want to be a better man. And you also take 180-degree actions. So there are parts of yourself that push her away. When you can identify those and take actions that are completely opposite of that, it starts to shift your identity into a man that she wants again.
I think there's two paths here for a lot of guys. Like the first path is you're going to give up, but you're going to become a better person because of it. And you're going to work on yourself. And through working on yourself, you'll learn to just walk away from something that clearly was not in your best interest or someone who's not in your best interest. Or by working on yourself, you will actually attract that which you want back to you, which is your wife in this case, if that's what you choose. And so it became less about her at that point. So I started working out 5 days a week. I got a babysitter in place. So that I could take personal time. I got a meal service set up. I got a laundry service set up to help out with all the stuff that I hadn't really helped out with for years. But then I started to do those tasks as well to see what the impact was. Started to become a better dad. Started I lost 40 pounds in 2.5 months. I focused on my kids, focused on myself.
And we talked about empathetic communication, okay? And how a lot of times when he was talking to his wife, he was dismissing her, or he was intellectualizing, trying to solve her problems. When you communicate with her in this stage and she's being resentful towards you, when you're able to have that strong, stable, unreactive nature in yourself, that more than anything is showing your changes. Now you have to recognize also in this stage as a major caveat is that she's going to be testing the hell out of you. I have a whole video on how to pass tests at the end of this one. It's the best one on the channel, but I just want you to know that when it comes to tests, you must expect them and embrace them, okay? She's going to criticize. She's going to say things like, make these changes for the next woman. One day she's going to say, I love you. The next day she's going to say, I hate you. It's over. It's going to be a lot. But as a man in your masculine frame, you must hold that stability, and that makes her feel safe. And the more you lean into your positive masculine frame, you're focusing on yourself instead of the outcome, and you're passing those tests, man, this ratio is gonna finally go to 50-50 with the polarity pull. All right, that tipping scale is 50-50. Now, I talked to you before about her being back and forth a little bit, some light of her saying positive things, but then also going back to the negative. Well, this is gonna be completely confusing for you because at 50-50 positive, negative interactions, it's almost like you're dating two people. Sometimes she's gonna say how she may even have sex with you, she may want to plan trips with you, she may say she loves you. The next day she says, I'm gonna go ahead and file, with the divorce attorney. It's just completely confusing to a lot of men, okay? And I understand that confusion, but as a man in your masculine frame, you must weather the storm and be stable, okay? Now, one of the biggest mistakes that you can make is you can choose to listen to her negative emotions and believe that, and then almost feed that part of her, that doubt, and that's what's gonna grow. Or you can choose how to be unreactive to that part of her and then believe that her truth, when she's not protecting herself, is that person that truly loves you and wants to hold on to you. Now, your thought patterns during this stage are gonna be things like, I feel hopeful, but is this gonna last? Or why is she still testing me? Or I finally feel good without her validation, right? And the negative actions that you can engage in that's gonna cause you to fall back into stage 2 or even stage 1. The first one is really rushing the process. You see a little bit of light of things getting better with her, but at the same time, you're like, I just wanna get there now. I see the light, I'm gonna rush through it. That anxiety is only gonna push her further away. So don't push that relationship talk, okay? Also, be mindful of all the resentment you have towards her and how that may come up for you, and it may subconsciously also push her away. So you need to work through that resentment and forgive her, okay? And then finally, complacency is also gonna push you away. You're like, I finally got her back. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and so I don't need to stay on top of what I'm doing to basically continue with the same actions that got me here in the first place. Overall, what's gonna get you to stage 4 is to continue on the same path, is to continue just to lead more, to understand these parts of yourself that pushed her away and correct them, to detach yourself from her, to focus on the man you want to become despite how she reacts. That's what she needs from you. To establish your firmer boundaries and enforce them as well. To understand your values as a man. To lead with integrity. These are all things that are going to make her feel provided and protected for, and therefore she's going to feel emotionally safe with you.
And to be honest, it's been weird. I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, she's so happy around me all the time. She's so girly, dancing, singing, I'm like, I don't, it's almost uncomfortable. I don't know this woman because I shut her down so much in the past. That's how she was in the beginning, but I'm going okay, I just gotta this isn't fake. This is just her being her and her acting the way she wants to act. And it's because of how I'm showing up.
Now, from her perspective, what's going on, she feels completely torn between two sides. She loves you and she wants to be with you, but she doesn't trust you. She thinks you're gonna do the same thing again, and she's just gonna be stupid, and all her friends and family is gonna say, why'd you get back with him after the way he treated you and all this stuff? Even if her friends are on your side, she's gonna tell that to herself. There's gonna be a lot of shame there. Let her go through her process. All you can do is be that stable base for her and not to be reactive to her, okay? She's gonna be very confused. It's why she's gonna be going back and forth. That back and forth nature is part of the beautiful feminine, so just embrace it and allow it to be. And don't be frustrated when she's going back and forth, calling her a liar or calling her crazy. Allow her to be that way. It is a common process for pretty much every single woman out there, okay? So if you continue to lead, to be unreactive, to continue to work on yourself, to be challenged by other men. This is why our program works so well. Guys that'll hold you accountable, to make you not fall back into complacency. That's gonna get you to the next stage, which is stage 4 of projected reality. All right, projected reality. You were pretty much 80-20% of the way there. 80 positive, 20 negative. You are almost back towards complete reconciliation. Your emotions while in this stage have a deep sense of masculine purpose just beyond the marriage, right? Towards other aspects of your life. You're feeling more in control of your life. You have this emotional control. You're no longer dependent on other people's reactions, especially her. She doesn't faze you anymore. You have the occasional fear of losing progress, but you stay grounded. You're enjoying the process of self-growth, not just for her. You are focusing on your internal, not the outcomes. Guys in our program who I know are stage 4, stage 5, when they share their wins, it's nothing to do with their wife. It's everything to do with the growth that they have.
3 months go by, I'm doing this, and she approaches me and wanting to reconcile and tells me all these things about how I'm a changed man, and just shocked that I'm not pretending. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm not writing to her of all these changes I'm doing, not doing PLCs anymore. This is who I am now. And obviously she seemed to change. And that's really was that key part though, Josh, was just like letting go. I really had to just let go and embrace that unknown, just fall into the unknown. And that really, I still remember that day.
A lot of the thought patterns you may have is, I am leading this relationship now. She's responding well, but I won't let that get me complacent. Even if she left, I would still be okay. Or this is who I was meant to be. I trust myself. I mean, those thoughts are really evidence of the man that you are becoming and the internal shifts you are making within yourself. And the external should already be there. And if it's not, it's coming soon. A lot of the positive actions you take is that you lead the relationship effortlessly without force. It comes on autopilot from you to make decisions. You create a safe environment. You are transparent with her. You are taking actions that make her feel safe, provided for, and protected for without her even asking. You are planning dates. You are taking initiative. You are doing adventurous things. You are growing. You are going towards your fear in life, doing new things you never thought you would ever do. And you are vulnerably expressing your emotions with no need for reassurance. All this leads to more future planning, which is why it's called projected reality, because now that she is in her feminine, she is following you and you are leading. So you are projecting this future reality again. But a lot of the things that will cause you to really fall back to stage 3 and 2 are similar to the previous stage, which is you get complacent. You start to prioritize other aspects of your life other than you. You have this resentment. This resentment one I really want to touch on, because a lot of guys, they feel so unsafe with their wife. And as soon as they get her back, they feel safe enough. Now they just they unload on her and they have all this anger and they express their betrayal. You should have that honest conversation with her about the things she did to hurt you, for sure, but you need to do it in a way where you don't feel a lot of negativity. Okay, you need to process this stuff on your own to be able to forgive her, but still say, hey, this is how this affected me, and work through it together. I just really want to state that, because a lot of times guys will shoot themselves in the foot when they get their wife back and they never really forgave her for the affair partner or for leaving in the first place, for threatening the family, whatever it is. And that resentment will just cause things to go back to square one where it was. But when you continue on this process, she's going to give you what I see as this final test before you go to stage 5. I've seen it with every single marriage that we've saved. A lot of times before she fully trusts you again, before she fully opens up to you, she will give you this final subconscious test. It is something that will potentially break your boundaries, and she wants to see if you're going to compromise who you are just to keep the peace, just to keep her happy. And you must make sure you know your boundaries and your values, and you stick to them, and you risk losing her. And once you do that, you go to stage 5, which is intimacy engagement. This is with the scale being like, I don't even need to show it to you, but like you're just tipped all the way over there. You guys get the point. I mean, stage 5, like you made it, right? You guys are not only back to where you were, but even better.
Sorry. Overwhelmingly good. Overwhelmingly good. Like back to when we were first married and dating. It just incredibly good. We're planning our future. you know.
So we're basically back. The relationship is better, I would think, than it's ever been. It almost reminds me of like the first 2 or 3 years being together.
And I just want to say that this stage, it is possible for every single man. And the main part of this video, why I made it, is because yes, you can assess what stage you're at, but you also have to recognize that your internal reflects the external. What that essentially means is that when you adopt the same mindset and beliefs as a man in stage 5 or stage 4, she will change. Okay, I have all the data from this. I know exactly why a guy is in what stage based on who he is and what his beliefs are. I can pick it out instantly, and so can our marriage evaluators. And this is why if you set up a call with our team down below, which is absolutely for free, we can assess what stage you're in the marriage and what exactly you have to do to get to the next stage. A lot of guys, what holds them back is not the motivation, it is the awareness. Because with correct awareness, with correct information, you'll take correct action. It's just that a lot of guys weren't given the correct information. There's a lot of fluff out there and people who don't give the best advice because no one really teaches how to save a marriage when the wife wants out. But this is what we specialize in after taking thousands of calls. Now, I said I would answer the question at the very end of this video. How do I show her my changes when I don't often speak to her? This is what holds a lot of guys back in stage 1. Because in stage 1, that's when she's no contact or she's moved out. She doesn't want to talk to you anything other than logistics if you guys have kids together or whatever. So a lot of guys ask that question. Now, some teachers out there say that there is some special technique or some special conversation that works. And that's just not possible. It may work for some people, but it could backfire for others. As an example, I know that half of the wives in our program that don't want to be with a husband, if they were to start dating another woman, the wife would come back immediately. But if I gave that advice to every single guy in my program, the other 50% would immediately lose their wife for good. You see what I mean? This is why tailored advice is so important. So when it comes to actually what can you do to show her changes if she's not talking to you, you can't. And the person asking that question is not the person that wins his wife back. The person that learns to focus on himself, to let go of the need to get her back immediately. I know it sounds paradoxical, but to let go of that need, what that does is that she feels it and she does reach out eventually. I've seen it too many times to not be extremely certain and confident about that answer.
If I do all these potency actions, if I do all these things for myself, how will she see it? She's not here. She's moved out. And then she's moved to Spain. How will she see it? Then now I know the unlock. They will see it. It doesn't matter. You're doing it for yourself, and it doesn't matter if they see it or not. And ultimately, she did see it, right? So that's the beauty of it.
Thanks for watching the video. There's the other video on the stages right here. I suggest you check it out and set up a call with our team down below if you want some tailored advice for you to make sure you're fully committed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.